Good morning. Today is Saturday, the 23rd of March, 2013. Here's the news in Panama for today. The fire at the Cerro Patacon garbage dump continues to burn. This is now the fourth day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday morning was the fourth day that Panama City woke up covered with a layer of smoke. I think that this little cough that I've got is because of the smoke. When the air conditioner is running, you don't smell it so bad, but I woke up this morning and left the bedroom. As soon as I walked outside in the hallway, bam, you could just smell it instantly. The whole house is just full of this smoke, and it's just not good. They're talking now about the possibility of evacuating the villages and the little towns that are the closest to the dump, and the possibility of having to just move those people out of there for health reasons. There's a spike or an increase in the people that are being attended at medical centers for things like asthma, respiratory illnesses, and it's mostly relatively old people or people who are sick and that already have some kind of a compromise of their respiratory system, or little kids who are susceptible to anything that's that they're sensitive. So the fire's still burning, and everything they've done so far to put it out has been useless. That the thing flared up again yesterday. I mean, just full-blown flames. So it ain't working. Putting dirt on it isn't working. They're now going to Plan B, and what they've done, this was announced yesterday afternoon, they've contacted the United States and they said, hey, what do we do here? So they've got 400 gallons of foam. They've ordered 100,000 gallons additional of foam, and they're getting the equipment and they're getting the fire trucks hooked up so that they can spray this stuff. Now, this is a foam designed to smother a large area. Now, 100,000 gallons is a lot of foam. 15 hectares of garbage dump is a lot of garbage dump. Let's see if this foam will work against this kind of a fire. But that's their next step. They've contacted a company in Texas in the United States who's supplying this stuff. Now, here's the thing. How long does it take to get 100,000 gallons of foam? If you call up on Friday afternoon and you say, send us 100,000 gallons. All right. How long does it take to pack that up, put it on a ship, get it down to Panama, get it unloaded, take it to the dump, put it in a fire truck, and begin to spray it? A week? Easy. Minimum. This isn't going to happen overnight. They had like 400 gallons on hand, which they started to use basically as a demo, just to try to figure out, what they're going to do. But they're not going to be flying down 100,000 gallons of this stuff overnight. I doubt. It's probably going to arrive by ship, but it's probably going to take about at least a week, if not longer, to get down. Okay, now the auxiliary prosecutor, who's like the number 2 guy in the public ministry, has an open investigation into the dump at the fire, because there are reports that the fire started at 3 different locations simultaneously in the dump, and there were people that were working in there that they call them recyclers. Basically, it's garbage pickers, guys that just go into the dump and they pull stuff out of there, like aluminum, for example, just out of the flow of the garbage, trying to make money off of this stuff. Well, these people were going to be relocated, which is another way to say thrown out, and they were pissed off about that, and they didn't want to be relocated, but I think that they'd already gone through the process of, we're going to throw you out. Well, we don't want to get thrown out. Well, the final decision was made. And I believe that the day that the fire started was like the last day that these people were going to be working. So what did they do? They said, screw it, torch the place. They're in the process of investigating this stuff now. They're getting all of the statements from all the people that are involved. I mean, they're talking Cineproc, Health, fire department, they're getting their statements, but all of those people are going to know what happened after the fire started. They're not going to know what happened before the fire started. The only guys who are going to know that were the people that were working at the dump. But anyway, they've got an open investigation. They're starting to do that. They're starting to figure it out and determine if there's anybody who's can be found or proved to be responsible for starting this fire. That's part of the story. Okay, so the fire's still burning. The smoke is still there. They're not putting it out. It's going to burn for a long time. I think it's going to burn until rainy season starts. And then about 3 to 4 weeks after rainy season starts, when it's been raining every day for a month, they'll say fire's out. But between now and then, you'll have a gradual reduction of the smoke, thanks to the foam and to the dirt and whatever the hell else they're trying to do to put the thing out. Okay. Excuse me. Last night, Panama played Jamaica. In the Panamanian men's national soccer team played against Jamaica. They played them to a 1-1 tie. This is the second game that Panama has played. They played Costa Rica in February, and they also played them to a 1-1 tie. So they've played 2 games so far, 2 ties. They've got 2 points. They've had 3 goals scored against them, and they've scored 3 goals. That puts them in 3rd place out of 6 teams. So they've got to play a total of 10 games. They've played 2. There's 8 left. And out of those 6 teams, right now, today, Panama is in 3rd place. They got to beat these guys. They got to be able to beat. You got to be able to beat Costa Rica at home. Playing to a tie on the road is fine, but you got to win at home. This is Panama trying to qualify to go to the FIFA 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Panama has never qualified for the World Cup ever. Out of the 6 teams, 3 will definitely go. 1 will have to play against New Zealand but it's the Oceania, between that group. So the 4th place team from this group plays almost like a consolidation round for 1 more spot against New Zealand, and the winner goes, and the losers eliminated. So, hey, 2 games down, 8 left. They called it a tie that looked like a win, and that is because Panama played well. They really did dominate most of the game. You're watching the game, you're going, man, Panama's a much better team. They just couldn't get that other goal through the door. So, anyway, you remember that whole Finmeccanica case where the company that was owned, 30% of the company that's owned by the government of Italy, and a corruption scandal for paying bribes to Panamanians to sell radar sets and all that stuff? Okay. Guess who's being investigated in Spain? The company called Sacyr, S-A-C-Y-R, and a company called FCC. Now, what are those dudes building? The expansion of the Panama Canal and the Panama Metro system, the subway system. And what are they being investigated for? For paying bribes to foreign governments in order to get big, juicy contracts. Is anybody surprised? Of course not. Is any of this going to get investigated in Panama? Of course not. Is it going to get investigated in the home country of Spain? Yes. Will there be splashback on corrupt Panamanian officials? Yes. Same thing that's going on in Italy. All the details will come out in Italy because those guys are investigating the corruption there, and it makes Panama look like it is what it is. And then, guess what? You're going to have the exact same crap going on. That's the way they do business here in Panama. If you want to get a big contract, you got to kick back to the local government officials who are corrupt, because the only reason they're in government is to get the money. No surprise there. Anyway, you can expect a lot more out of this investigation against Sacyr and FCC in Spain. More, much more, rather than less. Okay, there are some fishermen who left out of the port of Juan Diaz on a fishing boat 19 days ago in the Pacific, and they haven't been seen since. 4 guys. This wasn't like it wasn't a smaller little panga. It was a regular fishing boat. They suspect that they had some motor problems, and they've been adrift. They're saying they might be out there somewhere in the Pacific, and they're asking for international help to find these guys. But 19 days they've been at sea, if they haven't sunk and drowned. So that's the story. Now, in the Telemetro, you remember the thing about the firemen who were having a demonstration because they're trying to get pay and stuff? A couple of these guys got fired, like a handful of them got fired because they used the fire trucks. They pulled out the government-owned equipment, pulled it out on the road to block traffic, and then they were using the fire trucks and the hoses to battle with the riot police. Okay? When that shit went down, they said, hey man, strike or no strike, protest or no protest, you're fired. Get out. Now these guys are on a hunger strike, supposedly. They're chaining themselves, and they're like, hey man, you went over the line. Okay, you start using government-owned pieces of apparatus to fight with riot cops and block the streets. Nah, that's it. You're done. So those guys have been fired. They're asking for reconsideration. They're probably not going to get reinstated. They're just gone. And of course, the firemen are saying, well, there are brothers who are in the struggle and they're fighting for our rights and crap. Nah, well, there's limits. Anyway, they're gone. You remember the whole thing about the PARLACEN, the Central American Parliament? The Panamanians delegation from the opposition, they were opposition parties, but now they're in government, the CD and the Molirena and the Panaministas. When Martinelli took over, basically the whole PARLACEN thing and the whole thing with the electoral tribunal was all in the hands of the PRD. So what they did is they screwed Martinelli, and they didn't let his guys be on the ballot or get elected or whatever. They've been fighting this battle for years. And as a result, Martinelli said, oh, really? Well, we're going to leave the PARLACEN then. We're quitting. We're out. And they tried to yank out. The National Assembly passed a law, and they said, we're leaving. The Supreme Court then struck that down and said, no, that's unconstitutional. You can't do that. So then now they're back in. Well, after all of these years of screwing around, now these people who should have been sworn in back in July of 2009 are now in the PARLACEN. You know what? Who gives a flying rat's ass about the PARLACEN? These people have done nothing. It's a complete waste of time. It is where former dictators go to hide from prosecution. Martinelli was right when he said it's a den of people that are just hiding, and they don't do anything anyway. Car alarm going off. That's nice. Hopefully it'll stop. Hey, there it stopped. Okay, anyway, so PARLACEN, Panama, these guys are now in it, and really, who cares? Okay, last story, weather related. Up in the area of Los Santos, Veraguas, there is basically a drought going on, and it's affecting the cattle, and basically cattle are dropping dead. It's not raining, it's dry, there's no grass, and it's getting to the point where it's extreme, and it's going to have a big impact on the cattle herd, especially in that area, especially in the area of Los Santos. So that's a story. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That's all I got. Today's Saturday, the 23rd of March, 2013. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.